Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and I'm once again at the Parque Botanico de Maspalomas in Gran Canaria in the Canary Islands, right opposite of the African coast in the Atlantic Ocean. Well, why am I here? Well, why am I on the Canary Islands? I wanted to go to Java and Kalimantan first, had to cancel this because of COVID. Then I tried to go to West Malaysia and Borneo, had to cancel this too because they don't take visitors. Tried again to go to Java and Kalimantan, but Germany is not among the privileged countries which can send tourists to Indonesia right now. Tried to go to Thailand, but they just introduced a new visa system. Then I booked a flight to the Caribbean, to Guadeloupe, but they started some sort of revolution there, so now I ended up on the Canary Islands again. Really, I did not plan this. Well, and since I'm here, I want to assess the situation. Which situation? Well, of course, the fruit situation. Tomorrow I want to visit maybe the best private garden fruit-wise in all of the islands. But today I just landed a couple hours ago in Gran Canaria. I'm at the Parque Botanico de Maspalomas, a small botanic garden in the center of the biggest tourist resort in the Canaries. And like a lot of those botanic gardens, it's pretty fruit heavy. Well, usually it's pretty fruit heavy. I was inside the garden for the first time last year in December after years of horrible drought. And I must say, even then they had more fruit. Now it's earlier. It's the 26th of November, and I hoped that there's gonna be a little bit more rain and a little bit more fruit. Well, today it rained, and also when I came on the freeway I saw some grasses and weeds growing near the freeway, which means there must have been runoff from the freeway. But I also saw cacti, and some of them were half dead, some of them were really dead of drought. So it seems that this year the situation is even worse. So much about the introduction. So we cannot expect too many fruits, and yeah, although this is a park which is being watered, it seems that the fruit situation is not so good. Oh, but the cat situation seems to be good. Well, why is that so? Could it be that they did not water it enough? Could it be that this summer was even hotter than last summer? Well, let's look around. Last year in December, this soursop here was hanging full of fruit. Well, a lot of, I don't know if those are petals or bracts, but after there are a couple flowers, which actually in fluorescence is actually a lot of flowers. And a few big, quite well developed fruit. There is one up there. There is one here which is not too well developed. This one over there covered with what is it? Those mites or some other insects which produce some mildew-like substance. Another one up there. Here a young one over there, and last but not least here, not a very, well, actually one, two, not too big ones, but at least decent sized ones. Well, a lot less than last year when I saw this place a couple of weeks later. Oh, the cat is the big attraction of the park. Well, the Coca-Cola tree had very few fruit last year, but this year I don't see a single one. Quite a disappointment. Let's see what else we have. This place is not being watered excessively, but it is being watered, so water shouldn't be the big problem. I mean, last year they had a lot of fruit even after the drought. Last year they had quite an early fruit season, but still I came here later and caught more of the fruit season, and I seem to be catching this year. Well, let's see What about the noni over there? This is basically what I like to do when I come to a new place for fruit hunting. I go to a place where there is supposed to be a lot of fruit, baobab, but I don't think I'll get anything edible out of this one. A rose apple. And so the Parque Botanico of Maspalomas, well, it's situated in the south of Gran Canaria. It has more or less the hottest climate. I think you can have some hotter and sunnier climate in some of the big canyons of the south, but basically this is quite representative for the south of Gran Canaria. So all the rest of Gran Canaria will be either on the same level, or it will have more water and the fruit season will not be that advanced. So this is a good start just to get an idea what to expect here. So this is like the driest and the furthest advanced stuff you can find here. Well, another soursop. Well, yeah, it seems that we are earlier in the season than last year with the soursop. What is this? Lychee. Never seen lychee fruit on the Canary Islands, and I don't know if there were so many fruit on those inflorescences, but at least there seem to be a lot of flowers. Carissa macrocarpa also seems to be very late in the season. Well, people seem to have picked some of the lower hanging fruits, but even the higher ones are mostly quite ripe, and there seems to be a second or a next harvest coming because I see a lot of flowers. An avocado, well, doesn't feel very well here. I think it's too hot and too dry and too sunny on this location, and not a single fruit on the avocado. Date palm, well, they fruit around the year. This one right now has no good fruit, but it's the Canary date palm anyway, so not too valuable as a fruit tree. The noni, well, at least the noni seems to be in season. My least favorite fruit. I like almost every fruit. I will eat stinky mangoes and durians, but this one here, it scares me. And look at it. It's loaded, literally loaded. That's my luck for me. Let's see what else we have. Oh, this was not a bulb, this was a sausage tree. Well, the sausages are not edible, and here they are quite underdeveloped. They are supposed to be a lot bigger. A white sapote, unfortunately here in the Canary Islands they usually have very inferior bitter fruit. In the US and in northern Italy I found much better ones. What is this? This is some conifer. I think I should know what it is, but I don't. Agates australis. Kauri pine. Okay, nice. I've already made the video about this Parque Botanico, so this is, if you have seen the other video, basically this video will just help you to assess the fruit season. If you haven't seen it, well, it's a nice park and it's in a very touristy area, and it has a lot of fruit trees. Here the miracle fruit or calabash is in flower right now. Lots of flowers. Not a single fruit. Yeah, last year I wanted to harvest them in a public park nearby and couldn't find a single good fruit. Seems like this year I have more or less the same luck. Some sort of ornamental fig. I tried them last year. Yeah, I wouldn't consider them edible. Well, let's see here, a couple bananas, but you can clearly see they are not being watered enough and not being provided enough shade, I would say. Candle nut, Aleurites molucana. A nice nut, especially the variety they cultivate here, which is not bitter, and you can harvest it many months after it's ripe. It just stays on the tree, and yeah. Some figs on the ground. Are those figs? Yeah, those are figs. Here, the next generation is mostly green. But let's go to the more standard fruit trees. This is not an edible fig. Well, the guava season seems to be over and nobody harvested them, so they all dropped to the ground. Pity. Not my most favorite fruit, but I like them well enough. I would have eaten a couple of them. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still very tired from the flight. It was a horrible flight and a horrible bus ride here especially. Oh well, now we are talking business, but those bananas, they need weeks to get properly ripe, but at least here, most probably it's the dwarf Cavendish, the typical banana of the Canary Islands. Here a moringa. I think over there they have another moringa. And another and another and another. Those moringas look quite different. I wonder if they are different varieties or what. Lemongrass, not a fruit, but nice enough. Another avocado. Not a single fruit to be seen on it. Lemons, yeah. There are some ripe lemons on it. Here is the baobab. I caught it a couple times in Tenerife in season, but here I see just 1, 2, 3 fruit on the upper branches, nothing on the lower branches, nothing on the ground, but a couple flowers. Those also edible for a pretty long period after they ripen, but no, those fruits are just too high up. Well, I hoped I could catch the mango season once more. Last year in Gran Canaria I 90% missed it. But the mango tree here doesn't show a single fruit or a single flower. There seem to be a couple mummified mangoes on the ground. Harpephyllum caffrum. Last year it was ripe. This year it's just starting to ripen. Interesting. Do we have here a quince? The quince is a more or less temperate fruit which grows pretty well in subtropical areas. That's why it's quite popular in dry hot areas where apples don't grow. It's basically an apple substitute. Here a Ficus carica. It's of green fruit. Here is one which is ripe-ish. Not the best variety, I would say. In those winter figs, they are nothing special. This thing probably had quite good figs at some time in autumn, but this is a fig generation which is not considered very good. This seems to be another quince, I think. Yeah, seems to be a quince, but this one is dead, clearly dead. Almonds, one of the traditional staples of Gran Canaria, or is it a peach? No, it's a peach and it's flowering in November. It even has a couple out of season peaches. I once saw ripe peaches in January in Tenerife. I've never tried those January peaches, but I really would like to see if they are worth the trouble. Quite disappointing this year's fruit season. I don't know, man, if it's just the drought. Now they are watering it, and last year there was also a drought. What can it be? Was this year even hotter? Well, the only information I got is that there's some fruit diversity in this private garden I want to visit tomorrow, but that the quantity of all fruits is very low. Strange. There were a couple things I harvested over there last year. almost looks like it's gonna get dark quite soon. That early? Well, let's see. Over here we have tamarind. Not ripe, but I think this was the same thing last year. The fruit were not ripe, maybe they were a bit bigger than now. That is disorder carob. Here is something interesting. A sapote. Oh, look at that. This is the sapote chico, the little sapote or zapodia. There must have been a very good harvest this autumn. Look at those nice big fruit. And the second smaller harvest. It's growing right now, but probably much too early to harvest them. Well, that's something I didn't see last year. The ground was not covered with the rotten mummified sapote as well. Must have been many weeks since they were edible. This is definitely the next generation, the next harvest, and if you look closely, there are fruits everywhere. Should make a separate video about this fruit, but yeah, like 3 generations at once. The rotten one on the ground, the next one half grown, and then already the flowers, but I think I'll just include it in this video. White myrtle. And here right next to it, the myrtle with a natural blue color. Nice and aromatic. But I would say inferior to the related lily pili, which seems to grow much better here. An ombu, Phytolacca dioica. Yeah, already out of season, as you can see. Nah, quite disappointing this fruit season, folks. Quite disappointing. Here a cotton tree. The commercially used cotton is called Gossypium herbaceum, or the herbal cotton, while this is Gossypium arboreum, the arboreal or the tree cotton. As you can see, it's over 2.5 meters tall. Here we have something nice, Terminalia catappa, the tropical almond. It also grows well enough in the subtropics, so here in Gran Canaria you can find it in many locations, mostly near the beach. It's also called the beach almond, quite resistant to salt water. And the fruits are usually nice and edible here in the Canary Islands. I think they're inferior to almonds, but almonds don't grow very well in those coastal areas. What else? Here are some other fig. This is getting quite a long video, but I want to do a more or less full assessment. Here another noni. Star fruit. Last year we harvested some star fruit, but now there is nothing here. Another baobab. Not a single fruit on it. What about the macadamia nuts? Enough mud here to stick to my shoes. Not enough rain to change much about the drought. Yeah, macadamia is just around the corner. Well, around several corners actually. I harvested quite a lot of macadamias from this tree last year, and this year I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, maybe 50 or 60 fruit, but last year there were hundreds. Here in this place there. There are a couple more, but so yeah, we have some macadamia harvest this year, but nothing like last year. And I thought last year was already bad. Let's see what else we got here. Here another candle nut. Is it a candle nut? Well, I'm not gonna go there. I already showed you one candle nut tree. Oh, here the Bushman's poison. Funny thing is they make their poison from the milky sap of the plant, but the Bushman or sun or koi sun as they call themselves, they also eat the fruit. And the funny thing is that the milky sap is also present in the fruit. The milky sap which can kill a giraffe or another giant animal and also kill a human. So if you eat those fruit and you have wounds in your mouth and there is still milky sap on the fruit, it's quite a risky thing. Well, look at that. At least there was quite a decent date season here. Let's see, still a couple. No. Huh? No, it's rotten. Not rotten, but not a good variety. I think this is a hybrid between Phoenix Dactylifera and Phoenix Canariensis. I won't consider the fruit a survival food. I would eat them on the trail, just to nibble something. They are not too astringent, but they are more astringent. Definitely much more astringent than Phoenix Dactylifera. But yeah, I would eat them, but I wouldn't consider them a great find. There are much better dates around here. Well, what have we got there? Another mango tree over there. Not a single fruit hanging on this tree. Here are the lily pillies. They were already puny last year. This year they're even smaller. No, this is not Eugenia uniflora. This is Syzygium. There are several lily pilly species here on the islands, and I'm not gonna ID this from this drought plagued tree, but definitely not Eugenia. Well, what about the coconuts? In the Canary Islands we get good coconuts and even more bad coconuts, but nothing big around here. This queen palm is also not ripe, one of the tastiest palm fruits. Well, the pandanus. Yeah, there are a couple ripe fruit here. Well, the good quality ones have more or less the flavor of the pineapple, but yeah, the consistency of wood more or less. Let's see. Here is a grapevine. Quite a small and puny grapevine, and no, not a single trace of the berries left. One of my last hopes, not here, not in this park, but at least there is a fruit here, and I saw a lot more in private gardens. So I hope tomorrow on the market I might be able to find some passion fruit. Let me show you here. There's again quite a puny vine, but at least it seems to show one single big well-developed fruit. So here, folks, last but not least, Paciflora edulis, passion flower or passion fruit. If you see, it's really getting dark. Well, I think here you might be able to see a big fruit in the shade. So folks, yeah, this is the fruit season, how it presents itself today on November the 26th, 2021 at the Parque de Maspalomas in Gran Canaria. Very little fruit and very late in the fruit season. Very little fruit even compared to last year, which is bad because last year there was already very little fruit because of the drought. But the good thing is this is the warmest and driest and sunniest part of the island, like here around Maspalomas, Mogan and so on. So even if the fruit season is more or less over here, there might be some hope that there is still more stuff on the northern coast or inland. So folks, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful island of Gran Canaria, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.